Namasarvebhyah. Welcome to a short video course on fundamentals of Asiddhatva in Paninian grammar presented by vyoma-samskrta-pathasala. This is a short video based course in which we will try to get a basic understanding of the concept of Asiddha as it operates in Paninian Vyakarana. This is the first session of the course, which is an introductory session in which we will learn the objectives of the course. We will start with the Mangalam. Gurureva gatihi gurumeva bhaje gurunaiva sahasmi namo gurave na guroh paramam shishurasmi guroh matirasti gurau mama pahi guro येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। So the first question which comes is, what is Asiddhatva? So Asiddha is a term which is used quite frequently in Paninian Vyakarana. There is no correct translation of the term because it is a technical term, the jargon of Vyakarana. To define it simply, it is an important control mechanism for the sequential operation of rules in Vyakarana. As what we do in Vyakarana to derive any word is, we apply a set of sutras sequentially. Say for example, there is the dhatu pach, to which we add a pratyaya called nul by the sutra nul trichau. Then the vu, here it is replaced by aka. So the sutra for that is yuvoranakau. Now, because this is a nit pratyaya, there is a vriddhi. The pa becomes pa by ata upadhayaha. Then pachaka is a pratipadika, so we add a su pratyaya to it by svauja samochas, etc. Then the sakara is converted to ru by sasajushoruhu. Then the ru is converted to visarga by kharavasanai or visarjiniyaha. So finally we have a pada called pachakaha. So any pada we take in Vyakarana, there are a series of steps which happen one after the other to get us to the final form. Right. So what does Asiddhatva do in this context is, it has a twofold effect. One, it can prevent a rule from operating in sequence even if the conditions for the application of that sutra are satisfied. Or it can allow a rule to operate even if its nimitta, that is the conditions for that particular sutra, have already been taken away by another rule. So thus Asiddhatva has a twofold role to play in controlling this sequence. Simply put, Asiddha means something, a particular sutra, the operation performed by that particular sutra is invisible or is not recognized by other sutras. So we will understand later exactly what it means and how it operates. So why do we need to understand Asiddhatva? Asiddhatva is one of the most important principles in Paninian Vyakarana, which helps in deriving the forms using the sutras. If we don't understand Asiddhatva and simply apply sutras without the framework of Asiddhatva, it leads to the generation of undesired forms. So it's one of the most important principles that Panini uses to prevent the generation of uh, asadhu rupas or undesired forms in the language. Okay. So, who are these sessions meant for? So, it's actually for intermediate learners who have studied at least some prakaranas of the Siddhanta Kaumadi, the Laghu Kaumadi, Kashika, anything basically, uh, good understanding of the basic concepts of Paninian grammar. So the intention of this course is to provide a comprehensive summary of Asiddhatva. What happens is when we are studying Vyakarana through any of these texts, Asiddhatva is introduced at some place, and at different places, the different aspects are brought out as per the context. So we are just trying to put them together so that you can have uh, an appreciation of Asiddhatva as a whole. Okay, so since Asiddhatva involves interaction between various sutras, an understanding of the most important sutras of Vyakarana is essential. If you are not familiar with the sutras or the sutrarthas, it may be difficult to appreciate this Asiddhatva. So it is desired that the learners would have studied at least some prakaranas of any of the Vyakarana texts. So even beginners who have a preliminary understanding of the system. So the Samyas, Paribhashas, the Vidhi Sutras, and at least the Sandhi Sutras, so that the different sutras are known. So they can use it to get a basic understanding. But then you may have to come back to this after some time to uh, get more understanding or understand it better. How do we approach Siddhatva in this course? So there are two major parts. So the first thing is Purvatra Siddham. That is the major sutra which deals with the Asiddha. So we will see Purvatra Siddham in some detail. But Purvatra Siddham is not the only sutra for Asiddhatva in Vyakarana. So there are other kinds of Asiddhatva. We will see them very briefly, not in much detail, but just a basic understanding and one or two examples. So in Purvatra Siddham, we will try to understand Asiddha Kanda. And there are two cases. One is the Sapada Saptadhyayi versus Tripadi, and within Tripadi, Tripadi versus Tripadi. So we will see a few simple examples for both these cases, and also some finer or more complicated cases which involve Asiddhatva. We will also consider the exceptions to Purvatra Siddham. So Asiddha is not absolute. So there are several kinds of exceptions. We will try to understand them. In the other kinds of Asiddhatva, we will see the Ekadesha Asiddhatva. So there is a sutra called Shatvatukor Asiddha. So we will see that in brief. Also the Abhiya Asiddhatva, Asiddhavadatrabhat is another one. Then there is a very important Paribhasha Asiddham Bahirangam Antarange, which is actually an extremely complicated paribhasha with lots of shastric discussions. So we will not go in detail into the paribhasha. We will just try to gain a very superficial understanding of what it means by Bahirangasya Asiddhatvam. As the study materials or the reference materials for the course, there will be 16 short videos which will be available in our YouTube channel. The complete slide deck accompanying the videos will be available as the course in our portal www.sanskritfromhome.in. At the end of all these videos, there will be a course end assessment, which will have 50% of objective questions and 50% of descriptive answers. You can take up the assessment, and if you qualify, you will get a certificate from Vyoma Labs. As the background to all this, there is this comprehensive web portal for Paninian grammar, ashtadhyayi.com. So all the sutras which are referred to in the course, they will be hyperlinked to the portal. So to understand any sutra in more detail, or if you want to refer, you can always follow those links and visit ashtadhyayi.com for understanding the concepts. येनाक्षरसमां न्यायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्।